A new law designed to give low-income people access to healthy food isn't being followed. We found out the reason why. The agency in charge has taken years to implement that new law. Why is it taking so long for the federal government to fix this?
It's a really good question.
A program funded by your tax dollars is designed to help needy families get fresh, healthy food from stores that accept food stamps or SNAP benefits. But as our undercover cameras went down the aisles of rural mini-marts, gas stations, and dollar stores, we found shops selling karaoke machines and advertising lifelike baby dolls, all taking government dollars without offering much when it comes to nutritious choices.
Why would a business want to accept SNAP benefits?
3 reasons. Money, money, money. SNAP is big business.
But to tell you how this story impacts people, meet Edith Ruffin, who is the only source of fresh food in one rural area.
I love what he had me doing. I feel like I'm just in a good place in my life.
Ruffin grew up in Pine Hill in western Alabama. She says the last grocery store there closed 30 years ago. All that's left, a dollar store and 2 gas stations.
Well, that would be a good thing if the gas stations would have vegetables and fruits and what have you. But they don't, they don't.
Our undercover camera visited those remaining stores and found what Ruffin sees every day, a selection of canned and frozen foods, but no fresh fruit or vegetables or meats. Ruffin drives 2 hours a day round trip from her home in Selma, Alabama, to work at her hometown food bank that happens to be operating out of an old grocery store.
I enjoy what I'm doing, yeah. Sometimes I overdo it. My daughter tells me, Mama, you create work. You never know when to sit down.
Without Ruffin, many residents in this county wouldn't have any access to fresh, healthy food.
But here at the food bank, we're able to give them potatoes and, tomatoes. And we've been blessed with a 3-door cooler now, so I can have dairy stuff.
Rural Americans almost anywhere face the same issue. Small convenience stores are the only shops around in towns where many people are on benefits. Many of these stores, though, make big money from food stamps. In the last fiscal year, $3.8 billion. Around 245,000 supermarkets, convenience, and other stores accept food stamps. Many are your typical grocery stores. But while the USDA website says the program allows needy families to purchase healthy food, our undercover investigation at other stores in the Delta shows that's virtually impossible. We found stores with a moldy lemon and expired eggs, many shelves filled with candy and chips, some specializing in beer or liquor, what researcher Mari Gallagher calls a fringe store.
A fringe store primarily specializes in things like, I'm not against alcohol, necessarily, but, or I like a snack now and then, I like a donut occasionally, but they primarily specialize in things. If they're food items, they tend to be snacks, soda, chips, Slim Jims. Maybe they have some milk. Do they have skim milk? Do they have fat-free? They might not.
To accept food stamps, most stores need to have at least 3 different food varieties in 4 major categories: fruits and vegetables, meat and seafood, dairy, and bread and cereal. But even meeting those requirements, a store isn't helping provide a balanced diet. And that's what lawmakers appear to fix. But 7 years later, that fix hasn't happened. A 2014 law passed by Congress and on the books today strengthened the requirement for stores. It forced them to have more healthy food on the shelves. The important change, instead of requiring just 3 varieties of food for each category, the new law required 7.
This was an achievable improvement in terms of pushing stores to offer more, and our members wanted that.
But when the USDA put the law into effect, there was specific wording many lawmakers and convenience stores said was impractical.
They wrote them in a way that nobody understood or thought made sense.
Stores couldn't count things like bacon and deli ham as 2 types of food, just one, since they're both from the same animal. In a category like meat, the options for getting 7 choices run out pretty quickly. So in 2017, Congress pulled its own mandate until the USDA fixed that. But to date,
it seems like Congress wanted to fix it so we wouldn't do an investigative report on something like this. It seems like you want this fixed, but we're waiting for years for something to happen and nothing's happened.
That's exactly right. I think everybody agrees this ought to be fixed. It would be helpful if the regulations were finalized so that more and more stores would get nudged along in the right direction, but we'll have to wait for the Department of Agriculture for that.
The Department of Agriculture declined our request for an interview and said in an email they're still determining the next steps. Meantime, Gallagher has more criticism of the program. She says the standards are too low, but there's also an issue with compliance. The federal government admits it generally checks stores when they apply for the program and may visit again every 5 years. So while requirements hang in limbo, Gallagher hopes enforcement can be prioritized, though she says the USDA inspectors don't have enough funding to stay on top and help bridge the great health divide.
I think instead of doing lots of things, we should do fewer things and do them really well. So one thing would be, let's put some money together for compliance, because we all eat as part of the human condition, and food and access to food should be a conscious part of our infrastructure maintenance.
To dig in on how much food people are missing out on in rural towns, Mari Gallagher dug into Wilcox County, where Edith Ruffin runs the food bank in Pine Hill. In Wilcox County, around 25% of people are on food stamps and 31% are in poverty. Gallagher's unique model for measuring hunger in hyperlocal areas shows how dire things are. She found people in Wilcox miss around 685,000 meals a year, a need that would be equal to 1 million pounds of food. In Pine Hill, the 1,100 people there miss 67,000 meals a year, which would be like each person going without food for 3 weeks each year. We reached out to the convenience stores in Pine Hill. They declined to comment. Dollar General's corporate office told us it plans to expand fresh food options to 10,000 stores in the next several years.